Something on your mind?
Just want to let you know you're sitting in my chair.
Is that a fact?
Yeah, it's a fact.
Well, for a man that don't go heeled, you run your mouth kind of reckless, don't you?
No need to go heel to get the bulge on a tub like you.
Is that a fact?
That's a fact.
Well, I'm real scared.
Damn right you're scared. I can see that in your eyes.
All right, now,
Go ahead. Go ahead, skin it. Skin that smoke wagon and see what happens.
Welcome to Quarantunes, episode 6. I'm your host, Tyler Lyon. How are you this evening? It's great to be with you. 6th episode. We're rolling right along. Make sure you guys go and add yourselves onto the Tyler Lyon Facebook, Tyler Lyon Music, as well as Breakpoint Method, Evelyn Awake, The Leo Project, everything in between. T Lyon Music on Instagram. How are you folks? We're still here. We're locked up, but we're doing it. We're doing the damn thing. We are keeping ourselves alive, keeping ourselves entertained. I appreciate all of you lending an ear and joining me for these events. I think we will be moving the premiere times soon. So just stick with me and make sure you click on that subscribe button and that notify whenever I will get online button. I think it's a notification button. And I will let you know whenever we do any changes, if we do any changes. As of right now, we're going every Monday at 3 p.m. Central. So it's gone well so far, guys. Make sure you guys hit up that venmo.com/TLionMusic and paypal.me/TLionMusic. If you'd like to support, donate. You can also use the Facebook Messenger app directly to me. Always appreciated keeping us rolling, keeping us creators and musicians and entertainers rolling. So it's been a blast so far. You guys staying sane? Are you keeping busy? Have you found a new hobby? Are you just naturally, not interested in doing much of anything? This might be a chance to ride the couch for some of you that work really hard, or some of you that just find a good excuse not to work hard. I don't know. There's all sorts of different reasons to ride the couch. So I'm not mad at you. I play a little Call of Duty myself. You can add me on there at T-Lion Music. I'm on PS4, but obviously they're playing cross-platforms on Warzone, so that's where we're at. But yeah, we're doing the dang thing too over there. So we got a lot of stuff coming up on the show. Weird food combos coming up later on. We got band battles. This is a good one. This is the Eagles versus Van Halen, two absolute powerhouses. I'm not sure who's going to win this one right off the top of my head. I kind of answer it as I go through the show, so you guys kind of discover with me. So, I do first want to get to a little bit of some songwriting stuff. A lot of people ask me questions about songwriting and tips and pointers and things of that nature. So, figured I'd talk a little bit about that. Well, let's just dive right in. A lot of people ask me lyrics or music first, and a lot of times I tell them, well, both. There's a multitude of different ways to get to where you're going with your music, but if you just let it flow organically, sometimes it'll come from multiple different avenues, even if it's just a cool drum beat that you thought, a lot of times, or I like to go and hear a song that I like, and one of the things I ask right away from the songs, I'm like, what tempo is this? Because the tempo will really kind of tell me what my audience is going to do, how they're going to bob their head, how they're going to interact with the song, so that's going to give me an idea of what I need to do to make the song, do what it does. If it's a fast-paced song, maybe I don't need to be thinking about writing a real big groove, because it's a little too fast for people to groove to, but people will enjoy it for different reasons. Maybe it's, there's a lot of different, ways to, kind of manufacture that song that you want. It just starts organically from an idea, from a root of some, feeling or emotion that gets, put into motion by, by whatever drive that puts you there with your instrument. The thing that kind of, it's the conversion machine, but that conversion machine is powered by this self-will and discipline and all these different things, that, as well as just a sheer want to, so there's a lot of that. But I would definitely say you can start it any way you like, however you feel. Maybe it's just a simple lyrical melody that starts the song, and now you build all around it. So you're never wrong with how you start to write. I think that's just the best way to look at it. So rhyming combos. Someone asked me how I put together my rhyming combos. Well, I think that I have such a love for hip-hop because hip-hop has these very, very intricate rhyme combos that they set up, that the whole line might rhyme, and they do it, kind of like that. So I'll give you an example. On my song God Bless, which is on this new record that I have, the line says, I don't claim to be an innocent in all this. I don't sit up looking down upon my mess, like I don't have a hand in what the hell that I've been. I know that one day I'll have to pay for my sins. And it's definitely very hip hopish the way that that I attack the beat, but it you sing it and it adds this whole different poppy element. But I love when you like do an entire line, and then I love how people are like, you could rhyme the N word, but what's really cool is if you find a way to say the next sentence rhyming almost every syllable. I just think that stuff is super cool sounding, and I love that attack on, rhythmic approach on, and then your cadence can be yours to create however you see fit. However you attack the beat that's kind of what separates certain rappers, but that also is what separates us rock artists, how we're going to go after that beat. Lyon did some things that I always enjoyed a little differently, and then then guys like was Matt Holt from Nothing Face. I love the way he would sing at a part that I always thought, I wouldn't have done that, and I like that. And then Corey Taylor's like the best at it. He creates parts that you hear a guitar part and you would just never imagine that he's going to sing this gorgeous part over the top of it, and he does, and it's like, what? How did you think of that, man? You guys might hear mowers too, so just deal with it. It's nice outside. People are ready to mow their grass. So I always just thought that is amazing how you attack that. But lots of different ways to create music and be creative and get your ideas sonically out of your head. If you ever have any more questions, you guys feel free to ask me on the Instagram, ask me on Facebook, all those places. I stay off Twitter. I don't know why. I have enough. But feel free to reach out to me on social media and ask me any more questions you guys want to, and I would be happy to answer them right here on Quarantunes. Guys, stick around. Let's rock and roll.
Waiting for a moment, my eyes would catch you, and you would feel it too. And when I made my move, she found a way to soothe. She told me what to do. She said you'd find me here anytime that you're near. Don't gotta call or write me, you know where I'm hiding. She said she'd be there waiting, flowers in her hair, whispers on her lips. Now she always says to me, she said it's okay, I'm fading, but how I love you so, I won't let you go. I'm glad we finally made it. Years go by as the sun and moon come and go in soon. This feels right, standing here with you. Nothing I'd rather do. Time ticks by as we start our lives. Time ticks by as we start our lives. Our moments here are drawing lines. You're all mine. She said she'd be there waiting, flowers in her hair, whispers on her lips. Now she always says to me, she said it's okay, I'm fading, but how I love you so, and I won't let you go. I'm glad we finally made it.
7, 6,
Finally made it.
4, 3, 2, 1.
As she lays beside me at the end of days, how I love the way she
Quarantunes episode 6. That was She Said by Breakpoint Method. I really love the concept for the video that I had thought of with that song. That song kind of, I pictured like two people holding hands laying next to each other, and like the camera's very, very close up on their faces and then on their hands, and then just kind of like these loving gestures. But as it slowly zooms out and it takes on some different focuses as to what's going on, the picture doesn't look quite right, and they're like kind of drying up and they're kind of starting to look like they're dead. Like, it's kind of a sarcastic song. It wasn't written that way, but it's become that way. So I really enjoy that song. She Said, off the first Breakpoint album that I did with those guys. So love the tune. How are you guys? Welcome back to the show. I want to go to two weird food combos because I feel like there's a lot of these out here. And if you have one that I don't mention, maybe mention it in the comments below. I'd love to hear your weird food combos that are really good, by the way. One that I had is now like a little bit more popular because of the show Family Guy. They did a song, Peter and Quagmire did a song called Have You Ever Put Butter on a Pop-Tart? Have you ever heard that? I don't know if you heard it. Have you ever put butter on a Pop-Tart? It's so friggin' good. That song, the song's good. The Pop-Tart's better. So butter on a Pop-Tart's the first one. It's kind of easing you in there. Easy one there. The second one, though, gets you a little bit speedier here. The second one is cottage cheese with Italian dressing. Now, you got to try it. Do you like tomatoes? If you do, you're still in. If you don't, go ahead, leave. Cucumbers, all that stuff. With Italian dressing, it's good. So just put the cottage cheese with it. Just try it with the cottage cheese there, too, and see what you think of that. Because, oh, man, it's cottage cheese, Italian dressing, tomatoes. It's so far, dude. So far. I've noticed that people... I'm a big pickle fan, so like I feel like I could just drink a jar of pickle juice, which is probably why I'll die at 50. But I digress. I would say that there's probably a ton of like weird foods I just don't realize that it's weird, I guess. But I have my buddy that lives with me. He doesn't like hardly any condiments, and I think I like them all. I think that's why he's tall and thin, and I'm not. So, but I just think that the weird food combos, I probably could have done better at it. Probably could have chosen some of the weirder food combos that were healthier. Those would have been the ones that would have probably been a good idea. I want to chat a little bit about the sponsor for the show this week. Game Day Sports Pub in Manhattan, Kansas. Let me tell you a little bit about Game Day. I used to have a home bar here in my hometown of Lee Summit that I would play at, and I would draw, we'd draw like, 75 to 100 people there, and it would be a packed night, or 50, 75 people. It's a small place, but the point was it was like very special to play there. It felt like family. And that place isn't open any longer, and I still do have some friends from those old days and some people I still work with and all that, but Game Day in Manhattan has become a place that has felt like home to me ever since I've gone out there. They treat me so well. I know that they really enjoy the show. Everybody I play for really is attentive and really, is interactive in the show. It makes the show just an absolute blast, and I love, love, love playing out there for the folks at Game Day. And they have a family of their own that they've built with the patrons that they have that come there and spend their time and hard-earned money at the bar. So a big shout out to Game Day. Got to go out there, and I got to watch some K-State while I was there, which was a blast. And we talked a little bit about the Chiefs and their rise to power and their Super Bowl victory in 2020, and which was super exciting in its own right. If you haven't heard, I talk a lot about the performing at the Chiefs Pep Rally in the second Quarantunes, I believe. You might want to go check that one out. So there's a whole playlist of Quarantunes. So just click on it and listen to them all. They're all pretty fun. They got tons of different styles of music and tons of different music you might never have heard. So make sure you do that. But we've all talked about I need to get to a K-State game. I heard that going to a K-State game is just a blast. I've heard that nothing but good things. And of course, I enjoy being out there with all the people that I've worked with and everything already. So there'd be no reason why we couldn't go to a K-State game, have us a good old time, a couple of drinks. You know what I mean? Just a couple of hangouts, a couple of drinks. We'll just sit back, sip on Ripple, and watch the old team kick some ace. So, but you know, I'm a diehard Chiefs fan. You know that. I will not hate K-State because I am an MU guy, but you know I'm Chiefs all the way. But I am Game Day Sports Pub all the way too, and thank you guys for being this week's sponsor. Make sure you guys go check out Game Day Sports Pub. I will check you out on the other side of this tune right here.
This is Kansas City Chief, running back Spencer Ware, and you're listening to Quarantunes.
You called and I answered. I've been waiting for you through all my advances. I've been patient for you. So tonight we'll take these chances at a dance made for two. Let our minds be our romancers. Let our hearts be consumed. We fall deep in trances. We may be pursued. You ask and I have answers that lead straight to your doom. Break phase and leave this cancer, or your hell will consume. Remain lost in transfer to be left out of tune. She only tells the truth when she can't lie. She's died a million times, but why, oh why can't I? This life has taken me for quite some ride. I'm on my last lifeline. I'm burning across the sky. I know the things that you wanna do. I know the secret things that make you you. Late at night when I'm all alone, pick up the phone, pick up the phone. I see the stars shooting through the sky. Too many times to let fate roll by. Late at night when I'm all alone, pick up the phone, pick up the phone. We head out from Kansas in chase of our youth, through the ghettos into mansions with a taste of the truth. We head out on the highway in search of ourselves. I decided to do it my way and fuck all the rest. She only tells the truth when she can't lie. She's died a million times, but why, oh why can't I? This life has taken me for quite some ride. I'm on my last lifeline. I'm burning across the sky. I know the things that you wanna do. I know the secret things that make you you. Late at night when I'm all alone, pick up the phone, pick up the phone. I see the stars shooting through the sky. Too many times to let fate roll by. Late at night when I'm all alone, pick up the phone, pick up the phone. And I know the things that you wanna do. I
Quarantunes episode 6. That was Pick Up the Phone off of the solo album that was going to be coming out early this year. And now with the unquarantimely situation, it's going to just it's going to be flying right here at your face, right through Quarantunes. You can get it all right here. So just join me. Come on in. Let us listen to the music together. So, welcome back. That was my terrible French accent. A baguette, croissant. How are you guys? Have you been enjoying yourself so far? This is episode 6. Any segments you'd like to hear added, anything like that, feel free to let me know in the comments below. Also, appreciate all of the support. The donations are helping all of us creators and musicians and entertainers and everyone that's affected by this. Keep rolling and keep giving you some things to watch and look at and enjoy while you're at home. Getting through this all together. So we are in the same ocean. Maybe we're not in the same boat, but we're all in the same ocean together. So, with that being said, it is now time for the storyteller segment of the program. This part here is always fun because it's just kind of me going back to some of the stories that have, kind of kept us crazy kids going throughout all this time. And this one's not too long ago. This is a breakpoint method story. So there was a time when we would do these flash trips. We'd run to Colorado and we record from Thursday till Sunday morning, and we'd take off and we drive back, and I'd be back in time for the work week. Well, a lot of that, comes with getting tired and just kind of having to force, yourself to pull over and take a nap if you have to and all that, because you're always you're just on the verge of collapse if you're working as many hours as you can, trying to fit it all in 1 week. So I believe that we were headed back from Colorado, if I remember the direction right. And we had pulled off the road, off of the highway, onto an on-ramp. Well, we had pulled off the exit ramp, and then we pulled onto an on-ramp, and we had parked right off the road on the on-ramp where you see a lot of semis park, and there was trash bins there where you could get rid of your stuff. And so it seemed appropriate to park there. And it was a little creepy, though, because it's in the middle of the night, in the middle of nowhere. So my drummer Mike and I are in the car, and it's a little tiny two-door car, and we pull over, and I said, well, I'm going to lay back. If you hear anything, see anything, if it gets weird, let me know. We'll take off. So that's kind of the last thing in my head. And the last thing in my head is this terrible, maybe negative thing that he could have to wake me up for. So, but I'm tired. So I think we both kind of conk out, and so we're both crashed. Well, I think Mike gets a little uncomfortable with his seat, so he goes to adjust his seat, and there's these handles on each side of the driver and passenger seat that you can pull up in a lot of cars, and they can just lean the seat back. That's an all manual car. So I know for you young kids that's crazy, but when he pulled the lever to pull his seat back, I think he was leaning on it. So when he was leaning on it, it made a really loud slam, a thud essentially, and from my vantage point, I woke up to that slam, and I look over at my passenger Mike, and he is glancing what looks to be over my shoulder. This all happens in a span of about 2 seconds, and I mean maybe 1.5. So he's looking over my shoulder. He pulls the lever. He goes, "What the hell?" And the seat slams. From my vantage point, I'm dead asleep. I hear slam. I looked over at my passenger. He's looking over, and what seems to be someone coming towards our car. So, fight or flight response. I'm talking, I didn't even give him an opportunity to explain himself. He said, "What the hell?" And I had shifted that. I turned that car on and had it into gear, and immediately was taking off before he could get a couple of sentences out, and just started belly laughing about the fact that I had jettisoned. I was not playing around. I thought that there was danger, and we were not sticking around to find out what kind of danger that was. So I swear to you, it was probably the best misunderstanding and the most hilarious misunderstanding I think I've ever had in my life. And to this day, when we get together, we still chuckle about the whole situation because it just was so absurd. Because for him, for his vantage point, he slams the chair down, and his driver just woke up and started driving, and that's insane. And I couldn't help but just chuckle over the entire experience because he finally stopped me. He's like, whoa, no, that's not, no. And kind of explained to me when we stopped. My heart was beating. So now I'm not going back to sleep because I thought someone was trying to kill us. So now I'm like, oh, well, I'm awake now. So we're just going to go ahead and take off and start driving. So it's just hilarious how it ended up happening. And so every once in a while we reminisce about the experiences in the Cobalt. There's a couple videos on the Tyler Lyon YouTube page too, if you want to check them out too. I think they're called Welcome to My World. I believe they're on my page. If they're not, I'll have them up there, but go check and see if they're on my page. If not, someone send me a link or send me a message and I'll get them loaded up for you. But they're cool. They're about the 2015 World Series parade here in Kansas City. It shows me going to the parade, shows some of my recording experiences in Colorado, and a little bit of Tech 9 experiences, all sorts of stuff. So make sure you check that out. Welcome to My World. Very good stuff. So we're going to get into this next song now. Another unreleased track from the Leo Project, a song that means a lot to me. This song was dedicated to my near and dear friend Aaron Wolf, who took his own life years ago. This song was such a deep song to me that I'm just so really relieved that I have it in my possession again to where I can kind of listen to it and jam to it and just kind of, you know, I have these feelings for this music just like a lot of you do, and I just can't wait for you to hear it. So this song is called Aaron's Song by the Leo Project. Take a listen to this.
Curtis Seabolt here, and when I'm not listening to Rush, I'm listening to Quarantunes with my good friend Tyler Lyon. Neil Peart is a god!
Too much to think he'll go into
Quarantunes, episode 6. That was Aaron's song by Leo Project. Welcome back. Oh, we are now at our final segment. I love these segments. They're fun. I try to think these out as thoroughly as I can when it comes to the bands that I pit against each other, and I try to really give bands that are very, very close together just in the spectrum of what I'm doing. We don't want bands whipping each other, so you're not going to put up, Ozzy next to, some band that just came out, just has one record, even if they're great. I'm just not going to do it. I want to do icons, and we're going to do some newer bands too. I've got some bands like Bring Me the Horizon coming up, Asking Alexandria coming up, some of the bands from the mid to the 20 teens, Breaking Benjamins, all these different bands. So since I started this, there's a lot to get to. So without wasting a lot of your time, let's get to this week's band battles. Brought to you again by Game Day Sports Pub in Manhattan, Kansas. We love our family out in Manhattan and at Game Day. And make sure, if you get a chance, come out there and see a show of mine sometime. It is a blast. I cannot wait to see the people out of Game Day again. So we are on to band battles. Eagles versus Van Halen. I love this battle. I think these two bands are absolutely awesome. And with that being said, let's just move right on into it now. Best group live. This right here is I'll tell you, I think I already have in mind who was going to win, in my opinion. And obviously you feel free to disagree in the comments below. I would love to hear your opinion on these. So I have never got to see the Eagles actually in person. I have seen some of the Eagles performances on live recording, on DVDs and documentaries, things of that nature. I have seen Van Halen live. I know that does play a little bit of a role in that, but without going too far into it, I would say that I'm going to give the edge to the Eagles. I think the Eagles' vocal harmonies just are bar none amazing, and I think that, honestly, Alex Van Halen's drum tones are what really kill me for Van Halen live, and I love Van Halen. And but if I had to choose, I would definitely choose the Eagles when it comes to the sound, because there's just something to be said for guys that they just hear the right tones, and the Eagles have it. So 1-0 off early, the Eagles with the big start. Not the Philadelphia Eagles, the California Eagles. All right. Number 2, best band member. I don't think this is very close, so I won't go very far into it. Eddie Van Halen is the most notorious band member out of all those band members. I don't think it's close. Don Henley, Glenn Frey. You have a ton of great musicians in the Eagles, period. More great musicians in the Eagles than in Van Halen, but no one got to be a bigger icon in his own right than Eddie Van Halen. Alex wishes, but Eddie Van Halen. So 1-1 here, because best band members got to go to Eddie Van Halen. But better singer. Now we are on to number 3, better singer, which I think is another one that's interesting here, because you've got one band that has a ton of singers and one band that's had a bunch of different singers throughout different times. So I think it's going to be a real quick and easy, simple give to the Eagles, being that their original singers, whether it be Don Henley, Joe Walsh, a lot of those guys can just sing so incredibly amazingly that you just can't really, even though Sammy Hagar is incredible, and David Lee Roth is really good, and even Gary Cherone was really good on the Van Halen record that he was on, but I think you just have to give it to guys like Don Henley. He just has a magical, mystical voice, and I think that it's incredible what the Eagles were able to do with all of their singers. With that being said, we are obviously at a point where I think the Eagles are going to take the W here, but I do want to go through the X Factor, because I do have so much love and appreciation for both these bands. And we'll quickly address the X Factor with the win going to the Eagles. But I will say this. Eddie Van Halen was such a huge influence on the guitar player that influenced me, as well as me, that he stands out above his own band, and not because he's better than the band. The band was what made him, that whole unit was it. But for me as a musician, he really set himself apart from others. And as a guitar player, there's just no one like Glenn Fry is amazing. Joe Walsh is amazing. These guys can really wail on the guitar. Eddie was just unique. And Dimebag Darrell really was who influenced me majorly, as well as James Hetfield. And Dimebag was a huge Eddie Van Halen fan, and really took what Eddie was doing and took it to a whole nother level. I mean, there will be no one ever that sounded like Dimebag Darrell, but there would be no Dimebag Darrell without Eddie Van Halen. So that's the X factor, I think, for Van Halen, as well as the brotherhood that Alex and Eddie have. It's an amazing ability to lock in as musicians. My younger cousin Lance and I had an amazing ability to jam without even knowing where each other was going, and we would just be able to navigate through songs and write them, or just kind of jam and get better and tighten up. So I know how important that is as a connection. The Eagles, I think, were a band that flew too close to the sun. And I think the Eagles were so good, and I think that the Eagles had so many talented members that's almost too much to keep into one band, and I think that it kind of showed itself to be that way eventually. There's a lot of people that pull towards different directions, and a lot of people that have immense amounts of talent. It's hard to keep bands together when a lot of guys have visions that they want to fulfill on their own. And so you just really count your blessings when you're able to keep your groups together and keep those groups churning. And the Eagles were no different. They were a band that they lived hard, they partied hard. They were from a place where rock and roll was really born, as far as just the rock and roll lifestyle was born, and they lived it. They lived the excess, and they wrote songs that were timeless. And Van Halen has written songs to me that are timeless, but the Eagles have surpassed, I think, Van Halen when it comes to their ability to be timeless. And I think that as much as I picked these two bands and I really saw these two, I really do see that the Eagles have ran away with this one. They flew away with this one, if you will. The Eagles are this week's Band Battles winner. Congratulations, Eagles. Congratulations. Now I just tell you congratulations. But, yeah, the Eagles this week. Guys, Quarantunes episode 6. I think I'm going to try to at least get to 20 of these. If you guys really like what you hear, make sure that you guys are going to the Venmo.com/TLion Music, the PayPal.me/TLion Music. Make sure you're donating. And let me tell you something. $1 donation means something. $2 means something. Those things mean something. Even if it's $1, guys, it's not about how much. It's the amazing gesture of keeping me able to put food on the table for my daughter and work for you guys and create some of this content and have fun while I'm doing it, and be able to communicate with you, and we can have fun, and you don't have to watch the same movies. You can get new things, and we can banter, and you can be part of this conversation with me. So feel free to comment in the comment section below. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, hit the notifications button, and subscribe to all the social medias. Follow the social media channels at TLion Music on Instagram, Tyler Lyon on Facebook, Tyler Lyon Music, Evelyn Awake, Breakpoint Method, The Leo Project on Facebook. And guys, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to leave you with a fun one from Evelyn Awake. It has been a dandy groovy one. We'll see you next time. I am out of here.
it's time for me to go, I'll be sure to let you know. I will bid you this farewell. When it's time for my escape, I'll go across all these states, spread my wings and fly away. If it's okay, I'd like to say to you, I miss you, never forget you, baby. Just fly away into the summer sky. We'll make believe that we never cried. Just fly away, because you know you can. We'll make it seem like it's part of your plan. Just fly away into the summer sky.